Toto Wolff shut down the opportunity of having Max Verstappen on his team from 2026 onwards, but he didn't completely close the door for a potential move beyond 2027. The situation is slowly starting to solve itself, but the Dutchman didn't keep quiet at all. After sharing his feelings on how he feels regarding this entire situation, Verstappen might want to think twice before committing to a next move in his career. So, will Red Bull actually push him to do that with their engine program? And more importantly, which team would be willing to pick him up in case Max leaves? There is definitely a lot to unfold from the entire Wolff-Verstappen drama, and although it seems like it's a done deal, elaborating further on the goals that Mercedes has headed into the newly regulated era, Wolff went on to say, discussions have been taking place over the last weeks and months, so they're all up to date. The direction of travel is that we want to continue with George and Kimi. That's the first priority. You can't look past someone like Max and the plans he has for the future. We did that, but I don't think there will be any big surprises. And if you think about it, this makes the most sense. Since Hamilton's departure, there have been some strong internal changes in Mercedes, starting with bringing in Antonelli as an 18-year-old rookie and giving Russell a lot more responsibility than what he had until now. And I don't think that turned out to be a bad situation at all. Russell won a couple of races, and Antonelli won a pole position in Miami and a podium in Canada. So given the current regulations, I think Mercedes are on a steady path to improve their trajectory from 2026 onwards. The general belief among the F1 media and experts is that Mercedes is going to come up with the most dominant engine from 2026 onward, similar to what happened in 2014. Yes, that would be boring for the sport, but now that we have Ferrari and Honda with their own projects, I think it's going to be a bit more difficult for Mercedes to actually pull the advantage they had back in the turbo hybrid era. Be that as it may, the door has been more or less shut for Max for 2026, and the Dutchman accepted it with grace. I don't think he was very interested in making these headlines in the first place, but once they were out there, since the trip to Sardinia combined with Toto Wolff's one, the four-time world champion expressed his feelings regarding the entire situation. Adding on to this meetup and how big of a coincidence it was, he went on to say, well, I was swimming in the ocean at the time. I don't really care about those things because I went on holiday with my friends and family, and when other people are also there at the same time, that can happen. I mean, there are more people on the island than just me and Toto and the family. If you go to the same island, that can happen. Still, we're not 100% sure as to where Max's future lies beyond 2026. He's the type of driver to always look for the best performance in the best car. And if that's not provided to him, then rest assured that he won't stay still. This has been confirmed by his manager, Vermeulen. And in a cheeky note, Verstappen said that there's a possibility that he won't wake up tomorrow and won't race in the sport anymore when being asked about 2026. Elaborating further on this, Max said, there is also the possibility of not waking up tomorrow, and so there's no driving at all. Life is unpredictable, and in general, I'm happy with where I'm at. The target was that when I sign my deal, I would drive here until the end of my career. I don't think these talks would have picked up as much as they did had it not been for the sacking of Christian Horner. The Brit was part of the team since day one, and I know for a fact that hurt a lot of the loyal fan base of Red Bull. There have been reports that his closest allies have also been sacked by Red Bull in an immediate manner. And although this interfered with the atmosphere in Red Bull, Verstappen is adamant it had nothing to do with his choice to see what his options are beyond 2025. Elaborating further on this, Max went on to say, of course, when there's a change like that on the first day, people are a bit like, okay, what's happening? But luckily, I think on the day, basically the day after the announcement, I was at the factory doing my simulator stuff, and you just go back to work. We have to work on performance, setting up the car here, and making sure that everything is correlated in the best way possible. And yeah, you just focus on that, because at the end of the day, that's my job. The infamous exit clause is now allowing him to exit the team if he's below Russell in the fight for P3 in the next two races. So if that happens, I guess some interesting talks are going to be held behind closed doors. And with how the engines are reportedly being built back at the factory in Red Bull's powertrain, there isn't much hope that Verstappen will receive a competitive car in his hands to fight for a fifth championship. If that were to happen, what are the options that could present themselves in front of Max Verstappen? Of course, Aston Martin's up there, and the Silverstone-based squad will definitely have the biggest advantage to sign the four-time world champion if Mercedes is out of the picture. They have the ingredients that helped Verstappen win so many championships with Red Bull. And quite frankly, I don't think Max will think twice if Honda's engines prove to be very competitive. But what cannot be forgotten is that for 2027, the door at Mercedes is not closed. In 2026, Verstappen, Red Bull, and Mercedes will all weigh in on their options and see where they stand on the market. There is, however, one more thing that needs to be discussed, and that's the willpower of Ola Kalinius, the CEO of Mercedes. There have been tons of reports that he's going to push Wolff to the absolute extremes in order to sign Verstappen for 2026. Not because he doesn't believe in the current lineup or the technical development that's going on behind closed doors, but because he has a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity presented in front of him. That's the same reasoning Aston Martin has, even though both of these teams have firmly focused on their lineups from 2026 onwards.